Welcome to Ascend, the unified data engineering platform for building and running autonomous pipelines. This video will provide you with an overview of how to connect to Ascend through our JDBC and ODBC endpoint. We believe the data in Ascend should be easily accessible. To that end, records from any component are accessible through a variety of options. The Ascend Python SDK, through an S3 protocol endpoint that exposes standard snappy Parquet files, or even directly connected to a BI tool, as we can see here on our data feeds. Another way of querying and retrieving records is through our JDBC or ODBC endpoint. JDBC and ODBC offer a standardized API for connecting to databases. Ascend seamlessly implements this API by making each component in the data flow a distinct database table, as referenced by its component ID. Connecting in this way opens a variety of use cases, such as using a SQL tool with Ascend, connecting popular BI tools like Looker, and even programmatically querying and fetching records through code. We'll go through the setup today for a SQL tool called DataGrip, but the setup is very similar for a BI tool like Looker or in code. To start, we'll create a new database, and for the data source type, we'll prefer Apache Spark, or if the tool doesn't have it, we can use Apache Hive. Just watch out for version compatibilities with Spark. From there, we need to fill in the host. The host will be your Ascend domain. In this example, I'm using Fuji, and will always be .sql.ascend.io. The port will be standard 10,000, and for the user and password, we'll hop back over to Ascend to generate those. Those can be generated at the data service level by going to Service Accounts and adding a new service account. You can name it, and you can select whether that we want just the data feeds or whether we want all components. In this case, I'll pick read-only for all components. From there, after you add it, you can generate an API token and copy the username and password. Great, now that we've generated our username and password, let's fill those in. And we do need to append SSL true. Let's test our connection. Great, looks like we're connected. We can switch a couple of these options to make sure that it's a read-only connection and to not do any automatic schema switching. At this point, we can apply and go ahead and just create our database, for which DataGrip will now actually go and look to see all the different schemas and table names that are available. By default, DataGrip hasn't included any of our schemas, so let's click All Schemas and give that a refresh. At this point, we can see that each one of our data flows has been brought in as a different schema, and the NYC taxi data flow that we were looking at has all the different table names that we expect. Let's take a look at all cabs data. It's looking pretty good. You can even use these filter criteria to go ahead and spot check where passenger count is only 1. This style of working makes it really easy to explore our data as we're building our pipelines. The SQL syntax is standard SQL, so we are free to use the full capabilities of the language. Here's an example running a query for our taxi cab rides and joining it to a daily weather report. Because Ascend exposes data through the JDBC and ODBC standards, a whole variety of tools and libraries will work out of the box, empowering developers, data scientists, and analysts. As always, we can't wait to see what you build next.